All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another round of coffee and questions. What are we going to talk about today? Got my shop shirt on from yesterday. It is hotter than heck out here in Desert Cities area. I think we're peaking 118, 119 plus some humidity. So I'm not going to hang out in the garage that long. I just want to show you some things. I'm going to switch inside where, you know, the climate's a lot better. Because sitting in the garage, I don't have any airflow. I don't have an air conditioner, swamp cooler, or anything like that, so it's like sitting on the inside of an oven. Now, on the last video I showed you, we made that hand-carved bowl, and that turned out okay. Now, right along that same time, I was down at a friend of mine. He does a lot of tree trimming and arbor work, and he's selling off his business, and he's going to sell off all of his equipment, all of his tools. He said, hey, you want any wood? It's free, come get it. And I'm like, okay, so that's where I got that one branch from, but I also got this really cool tree root, part of a tree root. And I was looking at it, and it's heavy, and I didn't want to take it, and I kept thinking, what the hell am I gonna do with it? But it's kind of cool looking. If I just cut up some of the roots on it and I play around with it, and if I could hollow it out and I could make, you know, like this massive bowl out of it, but how in the hell am I gonna do that, you know? And then I thought, well, you know, look, remember we talked about the two paths in your brain, resistance, success. I said, screw it. I went ahead and I loaded it up and I thought, I'm gonna try it. I don't give a damn if I fail, it doesn't matter. I've got, like I told you, a lot of failed projects, a designer wood pile out back. So I brought it home. Now, one of the things that I did along in there, I was cutting up some of the wood for firewood. I showed you in the last video, I made this base. Now, I might or I might not use it on this big bowl I'm gonna show you that I did, this root base. But I thought, anyway, if I don't, I'll use my belt sander, I'll sand this flat, random orbital, the bark will be on there. It'll make a cool base for something, I'll just keep it to the side if nothing else. So let me get that bowl, I gotta show you, let's get right after it. I was really jazzed how it turned out, but I wanna show you folks. Okay, here it is. Now, like I said, this was probably a tree root at one time like this, and these roots were a lot longer and stuff, and I went ahead and I cut them off and I cut them down like you see here, and then I hollowed this sucker out. It's that damn Jordy Johnson and his channel, you know, he got me to thinking besides wood spirits. Now that I got the Tack Life, the Master Carver, and all these carving tools, you know, what am I gonna use? So look at this. I mean, this turned out really cool. And I'm not done with the finish yet, but you know, look, I really like this. I mean, out of a lot of projects I've done. So had somebody offer me, you know, a couple of $100 for it. I told them no. One of the people at work, and I said, no, I'm gonna hang on to it for right now, but I'll keep you in mind. It's a good price for it, but they thought it was really awesome the way it turned out. So I'll be right back. We'll do questions and answers. Actually, I won't be back. I'll just set it right here. Let me adjust the camera. Okay, so the first question I was asked, you know, I posted a picture of this, is how did I carve all this out? A very primitive way. I used Forstner bits and a handheld drill. I've got a Bosch hammer drill. I don't even think I used the hammer part of it. I just kept going in and out, until I got this down to a fairly good depth. Now, I know that you can buy carving tools that go on a 4.5-inch angle grinder, the chainsaw blades with a Lancelot, Guinevere, I don't know, whatever they are. There's YouTube videos out there on doing that. But these are guys that do it all the time. I'm not, so anyway, I did it the more primitive way. If you could think of another way, drop it in the comment below. But I just spent my time hollowing this out. Then I took my Master Carver with a flame bit, a big teardrop. I guess they call them flame bits. I'll leave it in the link below. And then I use the one that Jordy Johnson uses, which I forgot the name offhand, but they're super aggressive carving bits. Hang on, let me take a look. Sorry, I don't know where I put them at the moment, but I'll leave them in the link below. I'll look it up. And then I started doing all of this. Now, these big ones, I used my large flame bit I showed you in those last videos. And this is a big one. And you can get these on Amazon too. And this is the one I started carving this with. Then I used my drum sander. I'm sorry, not a drum sander, it's a drill press with a drum bit in it. I'll show that to you, hang on. I have about 5 different sizes of these, and they go on my drill press because I don't have any other sanding station or anything like that. But because of the sizes, this was easy to do here, okay? And then I came in and I went around here with the bigger ones, or over here, I had a smaller one. So you can buy these on Amazon. I'll try to find again the link because like I keep telling you, that's where I get everything. And I'll drop it below. And these kits are cool because you can just use regular sandpaper. Get good quality sandpaper. Don't buy garnet paper. That's all. It's like toilet paper. So use good sanding paper, and you can put these in there. When it comes dull, you unravel it, throw it out, put the next one in. There's a little set screw right here that as you tighten it, it expands and locks the sandpaper in. So these are really good. These have come in really handy. And the big, large one, I was able to do, not all, but I was able to do quite a bit of the inside of this. Okay, then what? Well, I use a foam block, kind of, this is foam, and sanding paper, and sat out here one morning, had coffee, and just sanded and sanded and sanded, and I probably did it the old-fashioned, very laborious way. So I'm sure there are faster ways, but I didn't want to go buy all the tools for one project. If I start getting into doing more of these, or if I had access to really cool-looking wood like this, that would be a different ballgame. Okay, questions? No, I stuck with the same finish. It's Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Cover Clear Gloss. Like I said, links below. You could use lacquer. There's nothing wrong with using lacquer or any other finish you want. I was very tempted when I first finished this to use just an oil finish and just hand rub it in, but I did that on the bottom. I didn't really like how it was turning out, and so then I took it off and I tried a different finish, which was the Rust-Oleum, because I've got a lot of it around here, and I thought it looks really good, so I'm gonna just stick with that. And so that's kind of how I made that decision. Now, if I had enough lacquer and I set up my spray gun, I would have sprayed it, but you know, this is just what I had on hand, but you can use a whole multitude of finishes. I could have used wood dye like in the last video. On this piece of wood, I thought it was really cool looking, so I did not want to use anything on it. I wanted to keep it as natural as I could, other than the film finish, which was the gloss clear. So, sanding, a lot of it, hand sanding, a lot of it. A lot of it on the outside, you know, when I got to 150, I definitely quit using the Random Orbital and any other electric sander, and so I went over with 150 kind of quickly, and with my dollar store, I think it's 2 times, you know, glasses on, because it really magnifies the wood so you can see if you're missing anything, because after you sand for a while, it is very easy to miss the previous grit's marks. So those help, and you blow it off, you look it over real carefully, make sure you clean off between each grit. I went from 150 to 220, and then I very lightly went over it with 320. I even hit it with some 4/0 steel wool in a couple places where it felt a little grainy. Probably didn't have to do that. I probably could have stuck with the 320, but that's how I got up to that size grit. I could have stopped at 150 or 220 because I was using a film finish, but I didn't realize at the time that's the route that I was going to go. I wasn't sure, so I kept sanding. If I knew that I was going to go with the film finish, I probably would have stopped at 150, 180. So, what else? Forstner bits. Well, I have a combination of Diablo bits and I forgot the other manufacturer, and Harbor Freight bits. I don't care about the Harbor Freight ones. I mean, especially like when I'm doing stuff like this, because if I screw them up, who cares? They weren't one of my expensive bits. Now, I've got a Diablo that's a really aggressive, well-made Forstner bit. It's 1 inch in diameter. So I use that when I know what I'm concretely what I'm going into and what I'm going through. On this, you know, this was not that hard of a wood. It is a hard wood. I don't know what it is. It almost looks like Norfolk pine, but I don't know. Norfolk pine, of course, is Hawaii and I think southern Florida or something like that. But I can't tell you that that was it for sure. So I don't know what kind of wood. Just get whatever you got. I mean, you know, he had this massive pile of wood from cutting trees that he hires a guy, he's got a great big log splitter, the guy splits logs all day long, stacks them into pallets, you know, for sale as firewood. And because he's closing up shop, he wasn't going to keep the guy going, so a lot of stuff is still like in log form, which was good, because when I went down there, I mean, I'll rather cut it up myself than have somebody split it, because I can use turning blanks, bolts, all this other stuff. Anyway, this is the project. It turned out really good. I'm kind of rattling here. It's hotter than heck out here. If you got any more questions, I mean, go ahead and, you know, drop me a comment, but this was by far one of the more interesting ones. I mean, I really think that I'm gonna like this when it's sitting inside, you know. Like I said, I got a little bit more to do on the finish work, but it's pretty much done. Okay, I hope you click subscribe. I hope you keep following me. I'm the Home Handyman. I will see you folks on the next how-to video or the next product review. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.